All right. Looks like everybody is ready to roll. So again, Ervin, Kansas City Chiefs, Dennis Crowley, Seattle Seahawks. This is the 16th edition of the USFFL League Championship. Dennis Crowley has won this league 3 times, including last year. Tim Ervin was runner-up last year. He has won this league once, and we are underway. And on the first play of the game, Seattle will take over on their own 32. We'll open up the card image. Slide it over here. So far today is always a nice thing to open up. And away we go. I play in a number of leagues with Dennis Crowley. I don't know much about this club, but we'll learn as we go. So instantly I can see this is a stock league. So Seattle is playing as Seattle. Kansas City is playing as Kansas City. Because as you can see, Russell Wilson is under center. That's Thomas Rawls. That's Doug Baldwin. And that's Tyler Lockett. So this is the Seattle team. And of course, they'll be facing off against the Kansas City stock team. Most of the leagues in which I play are draft leagues. So it's refreshing actually to see and to be able to call a game that features 2 teams directly from the 2016 season. So that's going to make it actually a little bit easier to call as well. The nice thing about the stock teams is that, you have the consistency of playing with the main roster. And so, you don't have a lot of juggernaut teams that get to draft, lots of linemen with 7 pass block and 6 run block. You can see the holes on this line. You can see a couple of tackles with 0. So you have to play around that and play to your strengths. So every team's going to have some strengths and every team's going to have some weaknesses. And again, in a lot of the leagues in which I play, 24 and 28 team leagues, you'll see a lot of zeros on the field. I won't see a lot of zeros, on the field, especially in the 24 team leagues. But when we're talking about a stock league, yeah, warts and all, you're going to see some zeros. So anyway, as we rejoin the game, it's 3rd down and 6. Seattle with a catch, but the ball is fumbled. But Seattle does hold on, does retain possession. That pass was caught by Doug Baldwin. And tight end Jimmy Graham was able to make the recovery. So an early break for Seattle as they maintain possession. They have the ball at their own 48. We're just underway here in the USFFL 16th edition of their championship. This is Dennis Crowley, coach of the Seattle Seahawks, facing off against Tim Ervin, coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a replay from last year's Super Bowl. Dennis Crowley's team came out on top. 3 titles in Dennis Crowley's back pocket, 1 for Tim Ervin. That's a first down carry of 4 yards for Thomas Rawls. And they have now made their way into Kansas City territory. They have the ball at the Chiefs' 48. Russell Wilson under center. That's Marcel Reese in the fullback spot, along with Thomas Rawls. Another carry for Thomas Rawls. That's his 4th. He picks up another 4 on that play, and it's now 3rd and 2. I formation for Seattle. That's Baldwin, flanked to your right, guarded by Peters. Marcus Peters, all-world defensive back. He'll be playing for the Rams this year. Here comes a pass to Marcel Reese. It is caught, picks up 12 yards. There was an injury on the play. Play was guessed wrong by Kansas City. Well, I thought I saw an injury. They may have turned off injuries, actually, for this final game. I swear I thought I saw an injury there. Anyway, 1st and 10, ball at the 32, of Kansas City. Seattle's on their opening drive. They converted 2 third downs already. Kansas City is bringing the house on this play. It's a pass to Marcel Reese, and it is caught. So a nice break for Seattle there. Not much of an opportunity to catch a short pass for Marcel Reese, but he dials up that 7, and that dials him up 11, and that's another first down for Seattle. So they've moved the ball pretty freely here on this drive against a pretty decent Kansas City defense. I see some 5s. I see some 6s. The 6s are Marcus Peters at cornerback and Derek Johnson at linebacker. It sounds like somebody joined. That falls incomplete. Attempt to Thomas Rawls. Ball is at the 21. 2nd down and 10. We've just played over 4 minutes here in the first quarter of this 16th edition of the USFFL Championship. Tim Ervin, Kansas City Chiefs coach, runner-up in last year's contest. That's Dennis Crowley coaching Seattle. That's a run for Thomas Rawls. He picks up a big gain there and a 1st down and goal to go. Ball at the 8. That was a pickup of 13 for Rawls. Early on, he's the workhorse. 5 carries for 25 yards for Seattle. Good mix of run and pass here on this drive. Here comes a run for Russell Wilson, but he's caught in the backfield. Defensive end -1 or 6. Defensive end is able to make the play. He only needed to be a 4. That's just enough to haul down Russell Wilson there in the backfield. That stop was made by Chris Jones. So now we have a pro set. No, we have a 3-man. Is that a 3-man? Nope, it's a pro set backfield. That's Wilson in the pistol. And here's another run for Russell Wilson. He's going to pick up 4, and that's going to bring up 3rd down. Ball at the 5. A running clock. 9 minutes to play here in the first quarter. So an early big moment in this game. Tim Ervin would love to hold Dennis to a field goal here. He's done a nice job on this drive. See if he can capitalize with a touchdown. Seattle would love to take this early lead. Well, it looks like they're going to take the lead no matter what, but you'd sure like to have 7. Let's see what Tim Ervin can do to stop him. Same I formation that we've seen throughout. Kansas City runs a 3-4. Both coaches are selecting their plays. Dennis Crowley and the Seattle Seahawks looking to repeat. And there is another run for Russell Wilson. 3 runs in a row for Russell Wilson. This time he's caught right at the line of scrimmage, and they will have to settle for a field goal. And this is Stephen Hauschka. He's going to put this one through the pipes, and the Seahawks are on top 3-0 in this USFFL Championship game. The 16th edition. Seattle won this league last year, looking to repeat. Kansas City lost in the title game, looking to avenge. This is Tim Ervin, who decides to take a knee on this play, and they will start at their own 25. And again, this is a stock team league, so it's much easier for me to figure out who are each one of these players since we've seen them so much. That is all-world tight end Travis Kelce, who I'm sure is going to be a very strong target. That's Jeremy Maclin on the wing, as well as Chris Conley. And Stratomatic superstar, Mr. Ware. Everybody loves to have him on their draft leagues. That's Spencer Ware. And under center, that's Alex Smith, who will be the new Washington Redskins quarterback in real life. He'll have one more Kansas City Strat card for this season. Here is a quick pass to Jeremy Maclin. That's going to be caught for 7. And that's 2nd down and 3. Played in a number of Stratomatic leagues this year, and Spencer Ware was all-world in nearly every one of them. Not only could he run, but he also was a fine receiver out of the backfield. He was a super weapon for many teams that I played in multiple leagues. So certainly somebody dangerous. He's always had an outstanding card, especially in the last several years. He's had a dynamite card and a great weapon. So here's a pass that falls incomplete. Alex Smith looking for Anthony Sherman there. And that'll bring up third down. Alex Smith, longtime NFL veteran, signal caller, began his career with the San Francisco 49ers, has spent several years with Kansas City, and of course, like we just said, big free agent pickup for the Redskins as they watched Kirk Cousins walk. Third down and 3. We are halfway through the first quarter of this USFFL title game. Kansas City trails Seattle 3-0. Tim Ervin looking for his second championship. Here's a button hook pass to where nobody's in the zone. So this looks good, and it is good. That is a 15-yard pickup for Spencer Ware. Short gain on Alex Smith's card. So Kansas City moves the chains. Now they have the ball at their own 47 on a running clock here in the first quarter, trailing 3-0. There's a quick pass to Chris Conley. 13 yards and a first down. In real life, this was the second season for Chris Conley. Went down with an Achilles injury this year. He's a receiver with a lot of promise. He just can't seem to stay healthy. So Kansas City on their first drive also makes their way into Seattle territory. The ball is at the Seahawks 40. Here's a run for Spencer Ware. Guessed right. And it only picks up 2. And it's now second down and 8. That was Ware's first carry. Tim Ervin, coaching a number of Stratomatic leagues. The runner-up in the league title game last season. He has a title under his belt. Dennis Crowley has 3. So some interesting nuances in this league. Seattle is running a 3-3-5. Wow, there's a quick pass to Tyreek Hill, and Hill fumbles the ball. And Seattle recovers. So both teams have had fumbles. Kansas City, unfortunately, was not able to recover their own fumble. So Seattle will take over on the big early turnover here in the first quarter with the ball at their own 39. So bad break for Kansas City. Tyreek Hill was able to make the catch, but he immediately coughed it up. Seattle comes up with the recovery. Actually, now that I look at that, it looks like a snap fumble. That was an Alex Smith. That was a pass intended for, well, it was a play intended for Tyreek Hill, but it was actually a snap fumble. So Alex Smith coughs up the ball. Regardless, a fumble is a fumble, and Seattle has it. That was a pickup of 9 for Russell Wilson. The last 4 carries have been through Russell Wilson, and now a 5th. So that was a long pass attempt and had a must run, and that's a pickup of 6. So Russell has been using his legs. That's 5 carries for 18 yards for Russell the Muscle. Just over 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. And Seattle, once again, is in Kansas City territory, 1st and 10 at the 46. There's a run for Thomas Rawls. He picks up 3 on the play. So Seattle has been grinding it out here in this first quarter. And there's a pass attempt to Rawls. The pass falls incomplete. 2 men were in that flat pass zone. Nice call by Tim Ervin. So just skimming through the record book here, it looks like this is Dennis Crowley's 6th appearance in this title game. He's won 3 and he's lost 2. This is Tim Ervin's 3rd. He's won 1 and he's lost 1. Here's an off-tackle draw to Proyes, but it was a penalty, offsides. So that'll move it back 5. And now we have 3rd and 12. The ball at the Kansas City 48. Also looking through these records, it looks like Baltimore has won more titles in this league than any others. In fact, 3 of the times it was coached by the same head coach. And there's a deep pass, but it falls incomplete. And that pass was attempted for Jermaine Kearse, deep threat, excellent deep threat receiver, but they were not able to connect on that play. Defender in the zone was actually able to make the play. He's guarded by a 5. The 4 made the play. Oh, he only needed to be a 4, excuse me. There's a nice punt that's going to pin him pretty deep. Ball at the 13. So Kansas City will take over after turning the ball over on their first possession. Just a few minutes to play here in the first quarter. Kansas City trails 3-0. The winner takes home the crown of the USFFL Championship. A gentleman named Vince Trivelpiece has won 3 title games, and I believe Dennis Crowley has won 3 of them as well. Baltimore has won 4 of the 15 championship games so far. So if Seattle wins today, Dennis Crowley will become the first 4-time winner of this league, and Seattle will join Baltimore as 4-time champions. Baltimore was coached by a gentleman named John Fries back in the 2001 season. So Baltimore has won this league 4 times. Here's a pass completed, a pickup of 16 yards to Travis Kelce. No men in the zone. So Kansas City moves out to their own 29. First down and 10. 2:06 to play here in the first quarter. Kansas City turned the ball over. Last possession, Alex Smith with a fumble. So they were able to get into Seattle territory, but their drive stalled. Here's a pass to Chris Conley. Defense is double teaming Albert Wilson. That's a pickup of 7 for Conley. That's his 2nd reception. Alex Smith so far, very efficient. 5 of 6 for 58 yards. Spencer Ware has been relatively quiet. So far. Ball at their own 36. Alex Smith under center. That's the pro set. That's Sherman and Spencer Ware in the backfield. Pretty stout front 4 for Seattle. They play a 4-3. That's a 6-4-5-5. They do have a 0 linebacker. Here's an inside run for Ware, and he is able to pick up the first down. Gain of 5 on the play. That's only his 2nd carry here of the game. So move the chains. Ball at the Kansas City 41. First and 10. For Tim Ervin. Alex Smith under center. You know, I like how this league works, and I don't mean to take away from this game, but I play in so many different leagues here, and almost all of them are draft. In fact, they all are. But to see different players and how they rotate through, I think it replicates real football probably more appropriately than it does in these draft leagues in which we play. That was a pass intended for Travis Kelce, and it was incomplete. Another nice thing about these draft leagues, too, is that now, granted, I would think it would be difficult to take a team with a losing record to the playoffs, much less the title. But, you can't build crazy teams. And so long as you're taking a team, depending on how well their regular counterparts do, you're treated to either a really nice team or a really lousy team. Not much you can do about it either way, but it does make it fair so that nearly every coach in the league is going to have a team. The way, parity runs in the NFL, everybody's going to have a good team, if not this year, certainly by next year. There's a penalty flag on the play. Spencer Ware runs it, but it looks like this is going to be coming back. Actually, no, that was on Seattle. It was a 5-yard penalty on Seattle. And the penalty was accepted. That was an offsides penalty. So no down. 2nd down and 5 now for Kansas City. Ball at their own 46. Probably a couple plays left here in the first quarter. Kansas City trailing 3-0. Here's a pass to Conley. Wow, great double team for Dennis Crowley and the Seattle Seahawks. Pass falls incomplete. And it's now 3rd down at the 46 for the Chiefs. This would have been the rookie card set, I guess, for Tyreek Hill, who had another outstanding season for the Chiefs. So Tim Ervin will be very pleased about that, I'm sure. He is guarded by a 6, though. That is Sherman. Who I also believe went down to maybe an Achilles injury this last year. I know he was a free agent and left the Seahawks. I believe that's Deshaun Sheed on the right, guarding Macklin. I think that's KJ Wright, I'm pretty sure. Yep. You play enough with these people, and you know pretty much everybody who's guarding everybody. It's KJ Wright to the right, right linebacker. There's another penalty on the play. And this one's going to be on oh, nope, it was on Seattle. It looks like a personal foul. Wow, face mask. So that's a 15-yard penalty, and that moves the chains. 1st down and 10 for Seattle. Good thing, too, because Spencer Ware dialed up a short gain, but because of the linebacker run containment, he was stopped short of the line to gain. So a nice break there. There's a deep pass that falls incomplete. Pass was intended for Tyreek Hill, who was in the backfield. He can play running back. That's all-world Bobby Wagner, a 6th-rated linebacker, middle linebacker, patrolling the middle. That's KJ Wright, flanked off to his right. Here's a run for Spencer Ware. Defense guesses pass on the play, so something good should be coming here. This is a pitch play, and he is able to pick up 4. Defense fortunate. I bet you on Spencer Ware's card that probably would have been a bigger gain. So 3rd down and 6. Ball at the 31. Kansas City's kicker. I want to think that's Santos. But Tim Ervin's not thinking about field goal. He wants to convert. So I'm thinking, I bet we'll see a draw play here. This is just a guess, but I'm thinking Spencer Ware on the draw. So let's see what Kansas City's going to do. They got that, Seattle's going to do defensively. They do have that linebacker 0. Cassius Marsh. Wow. Okay. Not sure I know who that is. And here's a deep shot to Kelsey. Defense guesses pass, but there's nobody in the zone. But he's able to make the play. It only required a 4. Defender was able to make the play, and now it's 4th down. So this is Carlos Santos, and this is a deep kick, 48 yards. He does have the leg for it. Let's see if it can convert. And he does. So Kansas City has tied Seattle 3-3 in this championship game, the 16th edition of the title game for the USFFL. We're all knotted at 3. We're just in the second quarter, 13:30 to play. Seattle looking to repeat. Tim Ervin looking to avenge last year's title defeat. He won 3 years ago. Seattle, under Dennis Crowley, has won 3 times, looking to become the first head coach to win 4 championships in this league. Seattle looking to win their 4th title as a club, and that would match Baltimore for the most wins in this 16-year league. So here's a pitch to CJ Proys, pick up a 5. Excuse me, that was a quick pass to Proys. My bad. 5-yard pass. Second down ball at the 32. Jimmy Graham at tight end. Tyler Lockett and Baldwin are your wideouts. That's Marcel Reese at fullback. Thomas Rawls is your feature back. Marcus Peters is over there guarding Doug Baldwin. That other corner, Steven Nelson. And here's a pass to Jimmy Graham. He's guarded by a 6, but he's able to haul that in, a 7-yard pass and a first down for Seattle. I know that's Ron Parker, the free safety for Kansas City, because I have him on several of my teams. And that's Eric Berry, the strong safety. So he's trying to keep Jimmy Graham in check, as is Marcus Peters on Doug Baldwin. So the 2 feature wideouts, pass-catching threats are guarded by 6s. Lockett is a good deep threat, though, but you've got 5, Ron Parker, patrolling that free safety zone. So Seattle's trying to make some hay here on the ground and keep things short. Tim Ervin has 3-4 defense, so he's got that flexibility to move those 2 inside linebackers. This time he moves one up into the run zone. CJ Proys picks up 2 yards on the play. Play was guessed wrong by defense, but it was only a 2-yard pickup. Again, you have to split some carries here. Thomas Rawls is not a 20-carry back, I don't believe. And so you have to split some carries here, and that's why CJ Proys is in. Ball at the Seattle 41. 12 minutes to play here in the first half. Game is knotted at 3. Here's an off-tackle draw for Proys, and he picks up some nice yards on that play, a gain of 5. And it'll be 3rd down for Seattle. Ball at their 46. Rawls has checked back into the game. We've seen the I formation pretty steadily. So let's see if Dennis is going to look to go short here. And he does. It's going to be a short pass, but this time it's a dump-off pass. So Russell was pressured, but he was able to find Graham in the flat, who picks up 8 yards and a first down for Seattle. Frustrating, but that is the rule. The dump-off pass. Again, it's to enhance more offense in the more offensively minded NFL. It's frustrating as a coach when you call the right play and you give up a first down based on something that you really can't prevent, but that is the rule. Russell Wilson's pass attempt on first down falls incomplete. That was intended for Doug Baldwin. There was an interception chance on that play, actually, 2 through 4 and 12, but the pass falls to the turf, 2nd and 10. 10:30 to play here in the second quarter, 3-3, Kansas City and Seattle knotted up. And there is a run for Proise. And there's an injury on the play, and it appears to be Marcel Reese. So a bad break for Seattle as their fullback. Marcel Reese will have to leave the game. So now we're probably going to see more of a 2 tight end set. Reese was a good blocker, but also a good pass catcher out of the backfield, especially when guessed wrong. But with Reese out of the game, the Seahawks are going to switch to a 2 tight end set. Kansas City will stay in their 3-4. It's now 3rd down and 4. Rawls is the lone back. Wilson is under center. Wilson is back looking, and it's caught. And that is a first down. So a big 3rd down conversion there. Once again, it's a play where Russell Wilson is pressured. Defense calls pass. But with that pressure comes a dump-off pass. And Tyler Lockett was able to make the play and pick up the first down. So now the ball is at the 31. So Seattle is now in field goal range. That was a run attempt for Rawls, but he's dropped in the backfield for a loss of 2. Defense brought up a linebacker into the zone. Nice call by Tim Ervin. Second and 12. Ball at the Kansas City 33. Here's a screen to Thomas Rawls. It's guessed right. Defense had double-teamed Jimmy Graham, even though he's guarded by a 6. And that's a pickup of 8 on the play. And it'll be 3rd and 4. Definitely in field goal range. Another 3rd down conversion for Seattle. 3rd down conversion attempt at least. Let's see how they've done so far today. Thus far, Kansas City has only had 3, and they've converted 2. Seattle is 4 of 6 so far. Here's an off-tackle draw to Thomas Rawls, but he is stopped. A pickup of only 1, and this will be a 41-yard attempt for Stephen Hauschka. They line it up, and he drops it right through the uprights. So now the score is Seattle 6 and Kansas City 3. So again, a low-scoring affair as Kansas City will kick off. And the kick is picked up at the 3, and it's only returned for 12 yards. Wow. So bad break there for Kansas City. That was Tyreek Hill. Tim Ervin didn't have a choice in the matter. It basically is returned when it's in the field of play. And he dialed up a 12. And that gave him 12. If he dials up a 2, that's 6 points for Kansas City. So again, he's a dangerous return man. Here's an inside run for Spencer Ware, and he is going to get loose. He's going to get very, very loose, and a big pickup for Spencer Ware, 46 yards. That is the biggest play of this first half, yardage-wise. 46-yard pickup for Spencer Ware. Guessed wrong, and he rolls a 12. That was only his 5th carry of the game, but again, with a 46-yard run, that gives you that robust 12 yards per carry. That's 61 yards for Spencer Ware. He's not been much of a factor until that play. So immediately, Kansas City finds himself in excellent field position. Ball at the 39. And there's a penalty on the play, and it's offsides again on Seattle. So now it's first down and 5. This is Kansas City's third possession of the contest. They fumbled on their first possession, and they got a field goal on their second. And they're looking to put some points on the board. They're nearing field goal range at the very least. Ball at the Seattle 34 with 6 minutes plus to play here in the second quarter of this title game of the USFFL. And there is a pass to Darius Harris. It's a pickup of 10 yards. So now Kansas City is on the move. Ball at the Seattle 24. I don't know a lot about the people who run this league, but there's a gentleman named Jason. Looks like Jason Goldberg. And I saw a little note just for fun. He put some Vegas odds out for this. He has Seattle as the favorite by 2.5 points. And there is a pass that is caught by Tyreek Hill. It's only a pickup of 4. Second down and 6. So he had placed Vegas odds that Seattle's a 2.5 favorite. 47.5 over under. He even has a money line here, 140 for Seattle, minus 140 for Seattle, plus 120 for Kansas City. No wagering, kiddies. We're just having a little bit of fun here. But if they're going to get to 47, they better hustle. Seattle's up 6-3 here in the second quarter. And it's another short pass. Defense correctly double teams Tyreek Hill, but he's still able to make the catch. He picks up 5, and it'll bring up third down and 1. Ball at the 15. Running clock. A little bit over 5 minutes to play here in the first half. Kansas City trails Seattle 6-3. Full house backfield for Kansas City. You can pass out of this offense, but the free safeties automatically go to float into the zone wherever you pick. So this is almost automatic run. And here comes an inside run to Spencer Ware. Defense calls short yardage, does not key on Ware. And he stopped. He stopped right at the line of scrimmage. So this will bring up a big decision for Tim Ervin. Fourth down at the 1. You're facing off with one of the top coaches in Stratomatic today, Dennis Crowley, with lots and lots of championships under his belt from multiple leagues. And so it's not going to be an easy task to defeat one Dennis Crowley. So it does make the decision. How often are you going to be in this position to score? And Tim Ervin has decided he doesn't want 3. He wants to go for 6. Seattle will get the ball at the beginning of the second half. So I think he decides right now, Seattle will have a possession, the ball instantly in the second half. He wants to go for it right now. And he will do so. That is Spencer Ware in the backfield with Sherman, the fullback. Probably not much of a chance of him to carry. Alex Smith is a decent running quarterback, and that's Chahandrick West. Again, it's tough to pass out of this formation because the free safety is going to float automatically into the zone. So if you go for a flat pass, it'll instantly be 2 men in the zone. I think if you were going to do anything here, you'd be likely to do a short pass if you were going to pass. Defense keys on Alex Smith, and instead this is Spencer Ware, who runs around the end and picks up 9. Excuse me, that was a quick pass to Spencer Ware. So he did decide to go for the pass there. So an interesting call, but it turns out to be a good one. So a 9-yard pickup for Spencer Ware, and it's now first and goal to go. Here's a pass intended for Kelsey, but he's hauled down in the backfield. Alex Smith is sacked. It's the first sack of the game, and that was Bobby Wagner, the all-world middle linebacker for Seattle from Utah State. So that is a loss on the play, and it moves the ball back to the 13. It was a 7-yard sack. It's now 2nd down and 13. Here's another pass to Travis Kelce. Only 3 men in the zone. Defense does call pass. The pass is caught, but he's hauled down just in front of the goal line. So now here we are again with the full house backfield. 3rd down and 1. And you have to think if he went for it on 4th and 1 at the 15-yard line, that this is 4-down territory. Here's a run for Alex Smith. Defense incorrectly keys, goes for Spencer Ware, and Alex Smith is going to dive into the end zone for a touchdown, and Kansas City has taken their first lead of the game, 9-6. Santos is on to put this one through and make it a 10-6 game, and he does. So with 3 minutes to play here in the first half, Kansas City has taken their first lead. Tim Ervin and his Chiefs are up 10-6 over Dennis Crowley and the Seattle Seahawks. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. That's a great return there. 31-yard return for Tyler Lockett. So they have good field position. Ball at the 34. 2:42 to play here in the first half. This is the 16th edition of the USFFL Stratomatic Football League. 30-team league. Stock team league. So Kansas City will now go into a 3-3-5 as Seattle has brought out a 3-wide set. And there's a pass. It's good for 16 yards to Jimmy Graham. No man in the zone. Actually, I believe that would have been the 6 linebacker rule. I didn't see if he moved. I don't believe he moved his his linebacker in. I think that would be the 6 linebacker rule. So from my understanding, this league has incorporated a lot of the advanced and super advanced rules, including yards after catch, which I don't believe I play in any leagues that have yards after catch, maybe one. Here's a pass to Jimmy Graham. It is caught. It's in the field of play. It's a pickup of 4. And let's see if Seattle opts to call timeout here and save one more timeout. Nope, they do not. They'll go ahead and just take it to the 2-minute warning. So with the ball at the Kansas City 46, Kansas City is leading 10-6, but Seattle is on the move. 2 minutes here, 3 timeouts for Seattle as they're on their way to try to put some points on the board here before the half. Again, the 3-wide set. That's Paul Richardson there in the slot. That's Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin. And here's a screen to Proise. It is caught. It's a pickup of 7. He's not able to make his way out of – yes, he did. He did make his way out of bounds. So it's a 1st and 10. Ball at the Chiefs' 39-yard line. 1:52 to play here in the half. Seattle trailing 10-6. Here's a pass to Jimmy Graham. Defense double teams Tyler Lockett, and that pass falls incomplete. So Russell Wilson so far, 11 for 16 for 101 yards. He has definitely spread it around. Graham and Lockett with the bulk of catches, but Proise's had a catch. CJ is a back again that Seattle has a lot of high praise for. Kind of one of those diamonds in the rough, but he can't seem to stay healthy either. Here's an off-tackle draw. He picks up 5 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Seahawks. 1:45. Let's see if Seattle elects to call timeout here, or will they go with the hurry-up? They do not. Well, they keep the same personnel on the field, so maybe they did go with hurry up. Although, no, it looks like some new players. So that's now Javon Curse in the slot. So apparently they did not call timeout. And they did not call hurry. Well, they didn't call hurry up. I apologize. They didn't call hurry up on that play. They do have all three of their timeouts remaining. 3rd down and 5. 3 wide set. Again, Kansas City comes out with the 3-3-5. 2 of the receivers, Lockett and Curse and Lockett, both are guarded by 4s. Baldwin hasn't seen much action. He is being smothered by All-Pro Marcus Peters. Graham is being guarded by a 6 himself. Here comes a pass to Javon Curse, and it's a pickup of 4, and he's going to be stopped 1 yard short of the yard to gain, so that puts the ball at the 30. At this point, it'd be a 47-yard attempt for Hauschka, and that is what Seattle's electing to do. So an interesting call. Dennis Crowley is pretty aggressive on 4th downs, but in this case here, he thinks that Hauschka has the leg to put this one through and knock this lead down to 1 before the half. No, actually, I'm sorry. Stratomatic, by default, puts out what they think the play you should run, but Dennis knows more than the game ever knows, and he decides, to no one's surprise, he's going to go for it. So he has a 2 tight end set here. Williams is a 5 blocking tight end. But you can look at that line. It's not really strong. Here's a curl pass for Tyler Lockett. Defense guesses run. So this should and is a nice call by Dennis Crowley, a gutsy call. On 4th and 1, he decides to go for a pass. It's on the defensive card, and there were 4 men in the zone. But again, it was guessed wrong. Hard to say what would have happened if it was on Tyler Lockett's card. But no matter, the pass is caught. And it's another 1st down for Seattle. 22 seconds to play. They have not called timeout. They're preserving them all for this group of downs. Interesting that he didn't call timeout there, though, because, again, there's a real chance here that he's going to have all 3 timeouts in his pocket, 2 or 1, depending on if any of these passes are incomplete. But the nice thing about having all 3 of your timeouts is the run is still in play. And Thomas Rawls could get loose on a short gain. They're only 15 yards between Seattle and 6 points. So that is nice to preserve those timeouts. It's just if there's incomplete passes, the timeouts are going to go to waste. But Dennis Crowley has more titles in his back pocket than I'll ever see. And there it is. Look at that. That first call. No linebackers in the zone. It's a short gain. And a 13-yard pickup for Rawls, and now he will use one of those timeouts. So a terrific drive for Seattle. They did have excellent field position at their own 34, but they have been able to maneuver their way into what could quite possibly be a touchdown that will give them the lead before the half. 15 seconds to play. Kansas City's run defense, not very stout. You can see short gains on 7 and on 8. Wow. With no linebackers in the zone. Here's a run for Russell Wilson, but he's plugged up in the backfield, so that's a loss of 1. And now it's 3rd down. 8 seconds to play. And now we see why he kept all those timeouts. Again, this has been orchestrated beautifully by Seattle, and they put themselves in a position to have 2 cracks at this end zone if Dennis decides that, and of course if they don't get it on this play. 3 wide set. Again, the free safety is going to, it's going to stay right in that zone. Here's a run for Proise, and he into the end zone for a touchdown. Offensive center 6 or 2. The center is able to make the block, and that is a touchdown. He needed a 4, and he got he needed a 5, actually. And his center is a 5, so he was able to make the play. I believe they picked up 1 more in the full house backfield. So nice call by Dennis. Proise makes it into the end zone. There is no time on the clock, but Seattle will have the chance to convert the point after, and they're going to go for 2, it appears here. So they'd like to have a 14-10 lead. Either way, they're going to go into the locker room with a lead of either 12-10 or 14-10. So full house backfield. And here's a curl pass to Lockett, and it's caught for 2. So Seattle, with just under 3 minutes to play in the half, is able to maneuver their way down the field and pick up another touchdown. Actually, that's their first touchdown. They have 2 field goals, and they get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, a run by C.J. Proyes, and a 2-point conversion pass from Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett. So Kansas City was thinking they probably would have a chance to take that lead, but they're going to have to be resigned with the fact that they're down by 4, but they also know that they will be getting the ball here in the second half. It was a very nice, very entertaining first half from 2 very quality coaches, high-quality coaches, good men as well, and good sports. So we're going to have a little bit of a discussion here, a little bathroom break. It's okay. That'll give us time to take a look at the box score here. So we're going to shut off the so far today, take a look at the box score. So both teams have alternated scores. Seattle on their first drive took the early lead 3-0 on a 22-yard field goal by Stephen Hauschka. Kansas City answered on their, I believe, second drive. I think on their first drive, they fumbled it away. On their second drive, that was Carlos Santos with a 48-yard field goal to tie it. Seattle answered on their next drive with a 41-yard field goal by Stephen Hauschka. Alex Smith took the lead on his 1-yard plunge. That included a 46-yard run for Spencer Ware, setting up that touchdown drive, the first for Kansas City. Seattle got their first touchdown drive just a second ago as a 3-yard run for C.J. Proyes and a 2-point conversion, successful pass from Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett, and we find ourselves with a 14-10 score, Seattle on top of Kansas City. As we'll look at some of the numbers here, Alex Smith, 10 for 15 for 98 yards in the first half, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Russell Wilson, a very efficient 13 of 18 for 120 yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. Spencer Ware, the leading rusher for Kansas City, no surprise there, only 6 carries. He does have 61 yards, including that 46-yard run that helped Kansas City on their first touchdown drive. The carries have been spread to 2 running backs and Russell Wilson. As far as Seattle is concerned, he is Thomas Rawls is leading with 9 carries for 40 yards. No receivers are really having a field day right now. Jimmy Graham does have 4 catches for 35 yards. Pretty impressive considering he's being guarded by a 6. 1 turnover in the first half, Alex Smith on a sack fumble. And that's where we find ourselves. Seattle also had a fumble, but Jimmy Graham was able to come up with that. That's Cassius Marks, the 0-rated linebacker who came up with the fumble in the first half, slowing a Kansas City drive that was in Seattle territory. There was 1 sack, and that was middle linebacker Bobby Wagner. Nothing else defensively really to look at. Cam Chancellor has 6 tackles in that first half. So we will get back to it. A couple more numbers here we can look at. Third down efficiency, Kansas City 3 for 5, Seattle 4 for 8. They do have, both teams actually have 4th down conversions. So we'll get back at it as soon as the coaches do. So just to review, this is the USFFL Stratomatic Football League. Stratomatic is a card and dice enterprise that has football, baseball, basketball, and hockey games, and all 4 of those games now have computerized contests. Been around for years and years. This football game has a lot of fans across the country and lots of leagues. You can play in stock leagues like we're seeing today. This is the actual Kansas City and Seattle football clubs from 2016. This summer, they will release the 2017 card set. So next year, assuming that Tim Ervin stays and Dennis Crowley stays, they will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs and the Seattle Seahawks from the previous season. A lot of us, however, play in draft leagues in which we tear the teams apart and we have drafts just like the NFL does. Only we have the built-in advantage of knowing what a player has done in their previous season, whereas everybody right now is trying to figure out Baker Mayfield or Rosen, or if they're all going to be the players that they seem to project in the combines and on film. We have the advantage of seeing them for a year. There's different ways to play this game. This is purely based on the cards. Whatever cards you're dished out, that's what you're going to be playing with for the year. So if Kansas City and Seattle had good seasons this last year, it's going to be reflected on the card sets for this year. So we should be getting back to this momentarily. Again, Dennis Crowley and his Seattle Seahawks won this league last year over Tim Ervin and the Kansas City Chiefs. So Seattle's looking to repeat. If they do, it'll be the fourth time that Seattle has won the USFFL, and it'll be the fourth time that Dennis Crowley has won this league. If Tim Ervin wins, it will be the second time he has won this league. He has lost. He is 1-1 in title games. I had looked at Dennis's numbers here just a moment ago. I believe he is 3-2. And we are underway, so Seattle will kick off. Ball is kicked to the goal line. Let's see who is going to be returning it if he decides to return it. And he does. It's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's card is interesting. Again, that Snake Eyes touchdown is very tempting. But if you look at the rest of his returns, he's pretty average, actually. So it's tempting to go after that too. But when you see 19, 20, 22, 21, 14, which is what he just dialed up, and a 12, I think you'd be more apt, rather than going for the home run ball, just settling in and taking it to 25. Now, instead, the Chiefs are going to start their drive at the 14, but it's understandable. There's a pass to Travis Kelce, but he's caught in the backfield for a loss of 2. So it's 2nd down and 12 for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are trailing 14-10 to Seattle here in this USFFL title game, the 16th edition. Kelce has 3 catches today for 22 yards. He is being guarded by Cam Chancellor. At 6 back there is Earl Thomas. Here's a run for Tyreek Hill. That's a pickup of 9 on the play. So he was in the backfield on that play. He does have the benefit of having a couple of carries a game. And look at that, short gains on 6, 7, and 8. And that really, really pretty 70-yard gain on 2. Not to mention a 28 on 12. Fortunately for all the other 29 Stratomatic coaches in this league, Tyreek Hill is only able to carry the ball, I would think, 2 times in a game before he's fatigued. So he's a weapon, but he's controlled only by the fact that he didn't have very many carries in the season. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 3. It's a nice pickup, though. It makes this 3rd down more manageable. Here's an inside run for Spencer Ware. Nice call. No linebackers in the zone. Nice call by Tim Ervin, and that'll move the chains to the 28-yard line, 1st down. Just underway here in the 3rd quarter. Kansas City trailing 14-10. That was Ware's 7th carry, 68 yards. Ballooned average, he did have 46 yards on 1 play. So Seattle, for the most part, has been able to keep him in check. And there's a pass to Macklin, who's been very quiet today. That's a 13-yard pickup for Jeremy Macklin and a 1st down. He's being guarded by Deshaun Sheed. That is the 2nd catch, only the 2nd catch for Macklin. Good for 13 and a 1st down. Seattle brings up their middle linebacker. Here comes a pitch out to Spencer Ware. Defense was double teaming Tyreek Hill. Was on the defensive card, which is pretty solid as far as runs are concerned. He does pick up 4 on the play. Seattle has a very stout run defense set of cards. If that's on Spencer Ware's card, I believe that was a short game. Yep, it would have been. Here's the pitch out again to Spencer Ware. He is able to pick up 7 on that play and picks up first down. So in the last several plays, it's been on the defensive card, but in either case, Seattle did not move a linebacker into the zone, and Seattle took advantage. In this case here, it was depending on the offensive guard. He needed a 4, and he got that 4, so another pickup of 7 for Spencer Ware and first down. Here's another run for Spencer Ware. So workhorse here early on. That's his 10th carry. Picks up 3 on the play. As Kansas City is now in Seattle territory. Ball at their 45. Alex Smith under center. Spencer Ware lone back with 2 tight ends. That's O'Shaughnessy and Travis Kelce. Here comes another off-tackle run. This again to Spencer Ware, but he's only able to pick up 4 again. There comes that defensive card. No linebackers in the zone. It's an okay gain of 4, but it brings up a 3rd down and 3. The 11th carry for Spencer Ware. Fifth on this drive. 3rd and 3, ball at the Seattle 41. 10:30 to play here in the second quarter. There's a penalty flag on the play. Here's a pass. It is caught. It is caught, but that is coming back. I believe that would be a holding call, and it is. So nullify that nice gain, a pass to Travis Kelce that was good for 13 yards, but we're going the other way. So instead of 3rd and 3, it's now 3rd and 13. So frustration for Kansas City as they were able to convert on that play, but a holding call nullifies it. So back to the drawing board for Tim Ervin. Trailing 14-10 to the Seattle Seahawks in a rematch of the of last year's USFFL title game. Again, 2 tight end set. Now that is Demarius Harris, who probably is a little bit better at pass-catching tight end for Kansas City, or maybe he was brought in for blocking purposes. I don't know. He's only a 2 rated blocker, so maybe he's a little bit better of a pass catcher than O'Shaughnessy. Two tight end set. Seattle counters with the 3-3-5. 3rd down and 13. Here's a pass to Travis Kelce, and there is a sack. So Alex Smith is hauled down behind the line of scrimmage, again by Bobby Wagner, his 2nd sack of the game. And Kansas City will be forced to punt. And this is Dustin Colquitt, who gets away a beauty. 50-yard kick, a big-time boomer, and it will not be returned. In fact, it sails into the end zone, so kind of a bad break for Kansas City, but they do put Seattle back at their own 20. That was Colquitt's first punt of the game, and it traveled 58 yards. Seattle let the ball bounce into the end zone. So the Seahawks will take over, 1st and 10 at their own 20. They lead this one 14-10. Dennis looking for back-to-back titles, looking for his 4th career title in the USFFL. As we said, these 2 teams matched up in last year's finals. Seattle came out on top 26-10. Here's a screen pass to Proisy. Big pickup. Nice pickup of 16 yards on the play. They did have a man in the zone, but he's only rated 4. And it needed a 5 to make the play. He did not. That's a pickup of 16 yards. And a first down. Ball to 36. 9 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. So a 3 wide set now for Seattle. Here comes an off-tackle run. And Proisy is stopped in the backfield. Now, in a case like this, again, there may be people who are watching this maybe for the first time, but don't know much about this game. The defense guessed pass on that play, but because they ran a 3-wide set, any roll with a 1 is assumed to be guessed right. And so Proise lost 2 in the backfield. Also, if you're playing this game for the first time, a run call that's on an offensive card that winds up being a 5 almost always is going to be bad, as Tom Cook, my friend and fellow Strat player, says, the dreaded 5. That is a deep shot to Tyler Lockett that is completed. But there was oh, wow. So that one is going to be nullified. On the previous drive, Kansas City was robbed of a 3rd down conversion by a holding call, and now Seattle, do unto others, I guess. That was a deep shot to Tyler Lockett for 35 yards, but it's coming back on a holding play on Seattle. So now that brings up 2nd down and 22 from the Seattle 24. The penalty flag giveth, and it taketh away. So Seattle will have to regroup. Here's a screen pass to Proise. That's a pickup of 9 yards on the play. So it makes the 3rd down conversion a little bit more manageable. 3rd down, ball at the 33. It's 3rd down and 13. That's Proise's 3rd catch for 32 yards. He's pretty good out of the backfield. They're looking for Jimmy Graham, double teamed. Wow. Interesting call for Kansas City. They correctly, and a nice call. They double teamed Jimmy Graham. He was being guarded by a 6, and they still put the double team kibosh on him, and it works. And here comes John Ryan's punt, and it will be retrieved, I believe, by Tyreek Hill. It will. Undoubtedly, he will try to return this, but it's for no gain. He has a pretty strong punt return. There's a touchdown on a 3. Dial up a 6, and it gives you 25. A 9 gives you 19. There's an 11. Bad break. Dreaded 5 on the punt return. I guess it works both ways. So 0 on the play. But Kansas City will take over. That was the 2nd punt for John Ryan. So these offenses have been quite efficient. Only 1 turnover in the game so far. That was an Alex Smith fumble, snap fumble. And speaking of fumbles, that is a pass to Travis Kelce, but Kansas City is able to recover their own fumble. So that is their 2nd fumble of the game, but they were able to recover it. Seattle had a fumble early on in the game as well. I believe it was Doug Baldwin, and Jimmy Graham fell on top of that one. So that would have been a very costly turnover deep in their own territory. But alert play by Travis Kelce. And so Kansas City will continue their drive. That's another pass. This one goes to Kelce. That's a pickup of 7 on the play. So it's now 2nd and 3. Ball at the 39. Chiefs ball trailing by 4 to the Seattle Seahawks. 14-10. 6 minutes plus on a moving clock here in the 3rd quarter. That's Chahadrick West in the backfield. Sherman is the fullback. Alex Smith is under center. Alex Smith so far, 14 of 19 for 129 yards. Very efficient. Here's a quick pass to Macklin, and it is caught for 13 yards and another 1st down. So Macklin makes the play. That's his 3rd catch of the game. And Kansas City has crossed over into Seattle territory. Ball at the Seahawks 48. I formation. Here comes a run for Spencer Ware, and the defense correctly keys Spencer Ware, but that's a pass. Excuse me, that wasn't a run, that was a pass. It was guessed wrong. They keyed him. They just didn't know he was going to pass it. And so a quick flare over to Spencer Ware. It's guessed wrong, and that's a pickup of 13. So another first down for Kansas City. Ball at the Seattle 31, as they have now moved into Carlos Santos field goal range, but they're trailing by 4, so they're looking for more than a field goal. Here's a pass to Kelsey. Defense guesses pass. It is caught. It's a pickup of 9 on the play. It's a pickup of 9 on the play. It's now 2nd down and 1. And here's a pass to Macklin, but they're going backwards on that play. So he is hauled down deep in the backfield, a loss of 3. And it's now 3rd down and 5. .418 to play. Kansas City trailing 14-10. Nearing the Seattle Seahawks red zone. Ball at the 26. Tim Ervin looking to bounce back from last year's championship game loss to the same Seattle Seahawks. Dennis Crowley looking to repeat for the 2nd time in his USFFL career. He has 3 titles. He's looking for a 4th. I formation. Again, run this league any way you want to. Here comes a pass to Kelsey. He's double teamed, and that pass falls incomplete. So Seattle had a 3-3-5 defense on the play. Wait a second. There's a penalty. Oh, what a terrible break for Seattle. So Dennis Crowley and the Seahawks are able to stop Kansas City correctly double teaming Travis Kelce, but there's a personal foul penalty on the play, an unsportsmanlike conduct that will move the ball to the 13. So that is a half the distance to the goal penalty, a 13-yard penalty, and it is a 1st down for Seattle. So a huge break for Kansas City. And there's a quick pass that falls incomplete. That pass was intended for reserve Kansas City wideout Albert Wilson, who, when Tyreek Hill went down this season for the real-life Chiefs, he should have a pretty decent card next year. Had a pretty good season. So we'll see what kind of card he's going to have. This year's card wasn't that great, but you have to spell some of your players. 2nd down and 10 for Kansas City. They're looking for the touchdown that will give them the lead. 4 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. 2 tight end set, standard 4-3 defense. Here's a run for Spencer Ware. It's guessed wrong. He's only able to pick up 6 on the play. I say only because Seattle certainly dancing between the raindrops when you guess wrong on Spencer Ware. Pickup of 6 on the play. There was an injured player, Darius Harris, and he will be out for the rest of the game. I believe Darius was a tight end for Kansas City. So out he goes. I formation with a fullback, Sherman. Ball at the 7. 3rd down and 4 for Kansas City. Trailing by 4. Seattle moves everybody up into the line. Let's see if they keep 3 in the short pass zone or if they elect to keep 4. Do they double team someone here? It's Tyreek Hill and Chris Conley as your wideouts. It's going to be a short pass to Spencer Ware. Defense guesses run, but with 4 men in the zone, the pass falls incomplete. And so Kansas City should and will try to put this one through the uprights and knock this lead down to 1. And they do. So nice drive for Kansas City, certainly helped out by that personal foul call. But they're not able to cross the goal line and get 6. Instead, they have to settle for 3. But they do knock this lead down to 1 point. It's 14-13 Seattle. Seahawks will take over at their own 25 with 3 minutes to play here in the third quarter. So I guess the personal foul call didn't hurt Seattle nearly as bad. It would have lined up for a 43-yard field goal that Santos probably more likely than not would have made. But certainly with a break like that, Tim Ervin was hoping for more, but he will settle for 3. How big is that 2-point conversion for Dennis Crowley before the half? Puts him up 14-3. It'd be a tie score right now had he elected to go for that extra point. If he hadn't made it, they'd be down by a point. So he's still maintaining that lead. A slim one at one point, but it is still a lead. That first pass was incomplete. It was intended for Doug Baldwin. It was incomplete on the card. The flat pass zone 4 and 5 are incomplete. Here's a short game pass. This one's going to C.J. Proise, another 12-yard pickup. So that is 4 receptions now for 44 yards. A nice weapon for Seattle and Dennis Crowley out of the backfield. So that'll move the chains. Ball at the 37-yard line. Running clock, 2:42 to play here in the third quarter. Tim Ervin looking to avenge last year's championship loss to these same Seattle Seahawks. Dennis Crowley and Seattle looking for their 4th title. Here's a square-in pass to Baldwin, and that pass falls incomplete. Not a lot of yardage on Baldwin's flat pass card, but he catches nearly everything. It just happened to be an 8 or a 9. So Seattle doesn't get the break there. 2nd down and 10 for the Seahawks. We've seen a lot of 3-wide set ever since Marcel Reese was knocked out of the game, the Seattle Seahawks fullback. They've alternated between a 2 tight end set and a 3-wide set. We've seen a lot more 3-wide out of Seattle here in the second half. And that's what they come out with again. That's Paul Richardson now in the slot with Javon Curse as one wide out. Doug Baldwin is the other. That's Jimmy Graham at tight end. Thomas Rawls is behind Russell Wilson. Wilson is 17 of 25 for 164 yards in this contest. And there's a square out to Curse. There is a linebacker there, but he is able to pick it up for 12 yards. So a nice pickup there for Javon Curse. Move the chains. Now Kansas City is welcoming the Seattle Seahawks into their own territory. Ball at the Chiefs 44. Seattle already up by 1. We're late here in the third quarter of the 16th edition of the USFFL Championship. And there's a 10-yard completion to Jimmy Graham. And another first down. That's 6 receptions now for 52 yards for Jimmy Graham. Russell Wilson with 186 yards passing. Just a few more plays left here in the third quarter. Ball at the Chiefs 34. Proise is in the backfield. Have not seen much of Thomas Rawls here in this half. So 3 wide set, and Kansas City counters with a 3-4. Ervin electing to keep a 5 in to guard Paul Richardson. And that's who he's going to go to. And that pass is going to fall incomplete. There was an interception chance on that play, but it was 2 through 4. So not much of a risk. 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 34. So again, 3 wide set for Kansas City. Excuse me, for Seattle. Let's see if Kansas City's going to come back out with that 3-4 or if they go to a 3-3-5. Both teams taking their time here, thinking this one through. This is the championship of the USFFL. Second down and 10. Ball to Chiefs 34. So this time Kansas City elects to go with the 3-3-5, so that puts 2 4-rated corners out there. Here's a pass to Baldwin. And that pass falls incomplete. So now it's third down and 10. This might be a little bit out of Hauschka's range. Seattle would certainly like to get something here. Obviously the first down, but at least to get a few yards. Maybe this is one of those Russell Wilson runs. There was a couple of series, in fact, that Russell Wilson had 5 consecutive carries in the first half. I believe he still has a few more left. So let's see if that's what he tries. Maybe a run around the right with that 0-rated defensive end. Does Kansas City bring that linebacker up? Does Kansas City bring either one of those linebackers up? It is third and 10. They do not. Instead, they elect to double team. Doug Baldwin is the intended receiver on this play, and the pass will fall incomplete. So now a little bit of no man's land here for Seattle. A 4th and 10, and again, Dennis Crowley, the gambler, he elects to go for it. But he is in no man's land here. 51 yards, maybe a little bit out of Stephen Hauschka's range. But 4th and 10s don't get converted every day. So this is going to be a troublesome one. Kansas City has to be very careful, though, of who they blitz, because that could leave Proise, and he does. He's going to throw to Proise, and that pass falls incomplete. Let's see. I believe he would have been, yeah. So in this case here, Russell Wilson was pressured. He found Jimmy Graham, but he lost a yard on the play. So the intended target was Proise, who I don't believe would have been guarded because both linebackers were blitzing. But in this case, he's not able to convert because of the pressure he brings on the quarterback. He has to dump it off. Graham is stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and Kansas City will take over. So nice job, Tim Ervin and the Chiefs, putting pressure on Wilson, unable to get that conversion to C.J. Proise. So Kansas City will take over as we are just underway here in the fourth quarter. There's a flag on the play. This is a sideline pass to Hill, which falls incomplete. And that's going to move the ball back 10 yards. That's a holding play on Kansas City. So immediately their drive is bullied just a little bit here. That's Tyreek Hill, dangerous running back in the backfield. He's also being guarded by a 0 rated. No, I'm sorry. He's being guarded actually by a 5. Here comes a deep pass to Kelsey, and he is sacked. So Alex Wilson is sacked for the 3rd time in this game, and this time it's Cliff Averill. So Kansas City is marching in the wrong direction. It's now 2nd down and 29. So after that excellent series in which they were able to stop Seattle on 4th down, Kansas City is going in reverse offensively. A holding penalty and a 9-yard sack. Alex Smith is hauled down for the 3rd time in the game. Here comes a off-tackle run for Spencer Ware. He's not able to get one of those juicy short gains. He does pick up 7, but it's hardly a manageable 3rd down. It's 3rd down and 22 for the Chiefs. So Seattle is looking pretty good as far as taking possession back again, barring a penalty or something crazy here. Let's see what Kansas City comes out in. I mean, the only way to convert this one pretty much is going to have to be a long pass, unless there's a fluky short pass gain. They're going to have to throw deep. Seattle is hoping for nothing fluky. So 2 tight end set. That's Tyreek Hill in the backfield. I wonder if Tim is thinking about a run here. He does. Here's a pitch out to Tyreek Hill. It is guessed wrong, but he's only able to pick up 6 on the play. And they'll have to punt the ball. Well, I hope for his sake that didn't exhaust Tyreek Hill's last call. I would assume that they have that same rule here. Oh, gosh, I would a flunky punt for Dustin Colquitt, a 19-yard kick. So Seattle's going to take over in Kansas City territory. So not exactly the series that Tim Ervin was hoping for after that great fourth down stop. Possession at their own 34, and they've inevitably given the ball back to Seattle with the ball at Kansas City's 48. So not exactly the series Tim was hoping for. Let's see if he can stand up here on defense and stop Seattle once again. That's Proise again in the backfield. 3-3-5 defense counters the three wide set. Here's a screen pass to Proise, but a penalty on Seattle. That's 5 yards. Offsides. Ugh, offsides on Seattle. Probably more a false start than offsides, but regardless, if the play had gone through, which I don't believe in that kind of nonsense, that is a 14-yard pickup, but you and I didn't see that, right? So Seattle pushes the ball back into their own territory, first down and 15. Well, here comes that same play to C.J. Proise, and guess what? He picks up all the yards needed, 15 on the play and a first down. That was a nice break for Seattle. That was a short gain on Russell Wilson's guessed right, which is pretty much a short gain for just about everybody. So that's just a nice break. It's a good dice roll, but hey, we'll take it. Anytime you're a coach, we'll take it. And Dennis Crowley, he will take it. So first down, ball at the 39 of Kansas City. Seattle is up by the slimmest of margins, 14-13 in this title game. Here's a pass to Jimmy Graham, but it falls incomplete. That's a flat pass. Jimmy Graham has a nice flat pass card. Look at the gains there. Lots of double digits. There's some holes, but certainly if you catch the ball, he's going to pick up some yardage. 3-3-5 set for Kansas City. Again, we've got the three wide set for Seattle. That was a pass intended for Proise, but Kansas City wises up to it and correctly double teams him. He does not have a reception on his card for a double team. He's been outstanding today. 5 catches for 59 yards. So it's now 3rd and 10. Kansas City again. This might again be 4-down territory. So let's see if Seattle might think about a run here. Maybe Russell Wilson. Maybe this is the time to turn him loose and get close to potentially a field goal. I'm sure he doesn't want another 4th and 10. A double team of Jimmy Graham. Here comes a screen pass to Proise. Pass is guessed correctly, and it is a 7-yard pickup. So this is a 48-yard attempt for Hauschka, and he is going to kick this one. Hauschka did have a deep kick. It was the first kick of the game, as a matter of fact, and it's the first points of the game for Seattle. Hauschka's kick is going to be short. So that would be the variable field goal rule. I'm very sure that if Dennis had known that only a 2 through 4 was going to get him a field goal, he would never have elected to kick. The variable field goal rule knocks off a few yards, or actually adds a few yards, and Hauschka's kick falls short, and that will give the Chiefs very good field position with the ball at the 38. So 11:24 to play in this contest. Kansas City trailing 14-13 over last year's title game champions, Seattle Seahawks, and Dennis Crowley. Here is a off-tackle run to Spencer Ware. Guessed wrong, but bad break. Only a pickup of 1 on the play. Pardon me. Spencer Ware now with 14 carries for 100 yards. Not the way you want to hit the century mark, though, with a 1-yard pickup. 2nd down. Again, I formation. Kansas City has not been able to move the ball very effectively here in the second half. Their last drive was stalled by penalties, a penalty and a sack. Here's a pitch to Spencer Ware. Defense gets his pass. Got to be hoping for something good here, and it's a pretty good pickup of 5 yards. And it's now 3rd and 4. Ball at the Chiefs' 44-yard line. 10 minutes on a running clock. Kansas City trails 13-14, 14-13 to Seattle. 3rd down and 4. I formation again. Will they run where one more time? Nope, they're looking for a sideline pass to Conley. Defense double teams Kelsey. And Conley is able to make the catch, but there's some laundry on the field, and it's against Seattle. So they will decline this penalty. Yes, they will take the 6-yard play. Alex Smith to Chris Conley. It's only his 3rd reception of the game, but it's a big one. And the ball is now at midfield. There we go. Ball at the 50. Ball at midfield. Kansas City trailing by 1. They'd like to get this winning score and grind out some clock. Conservative call. Here's a pass to Macklin. But there's no man in the zone because the white die 6 comes up, so the 6 linebacker rule is in play. Macklin picks up 10 yards. And another first down for the Chiefs. Trailing by 1 with 9 minutes on a running clock here in the 4th quarter. Ball at the 40-yard line of Seattle. There is a run for Spencer Ware. It's on the defensive card. There was no linebackers in the zone, but the right tackle was unable to make the block. Came up as a white die 5. Right tackle is a 4. Schwartz. I couldn't remember if that was Schwartz or Fisher. Another run for Spencer Ware. And he's only able to pick up 1. Defense brings up a linebacker to blitz on the play, and he just so happens to meet Spencer Ware just after the line of scrimmage. So now it's 3rd down and 9. A little dicey here for the Chiefs. Santos has a good leg, but they've got to get as close as they can to the 30. I don't think you want to be kicking too far out of the 33 or beyond. We are getting late in the game, and this potentially could be 4-down territory, but we're taking it 1 down at a time. 3rd down and 9. Kansas City deciding on their formation. The winner is crowned USFFL champion. Dennis Crowley currently holds the trophy. He wants to keep it. Tim Ervin last year lost to Dennis Crowley. He wants it back. He's looking for his 2nd title of this 16-year league. Dennis Crowley is looking for his 4th. So the straight I formation. And there's a pass to, and it's completed. Travis Kelsey with the catch, a 12-yard pickup. Only 3 men in the zone. Kelsey's able to pick it up. Defense called run, I believe, on that play. That's correct. Travis Kelsey with the pickup of 12 yards and a first down. That's Kelsey's 6th reception for 69 yards. 192 yards thrown now for Alex Smith. 21 of 29. No touchdowns, but no interceptions. So Kansas City now is in field goal range. So it's looking good for them to take this lead. Here's a pass to Kelsey, but he only picks up 2 on that flat pass. 1 man in that zone. Pass was over the middle. I believe it was a look-in pass. Second down and 8. Ball at the 25. Under 7 to play here in the 4th quarter. Kansas City trails 14-13. Screen pass to Conley. Defense gets his run, but there are 2 linebackers in the zone. And Conley's able to haul it in, and he picks up another first down. So that puts the ball at the 17. Kansas City is definitely in field goal range. So they're looking pretty good as far as taking the lead, but Tim Ervin would like to do 2 things here. 1, run clock. Number 2, get that score. Either one would be fine, but certainly a touchdown would be more to his liking. because it would probably grind out some more clock. But let's see if he keeps this ball on the ground. Spencer Ware with the button hook pass, but the pass falls incomplete. Again, if you're watching this, a button hook pass, an incomplete pass, you can see a -1. There's no such thing as a -1 pass when it comes to a look-in pass over the middle. They just count that as an incomplete pass. So 23 of 32 for Alex Smith for 202 yards. Slow and steady. Here's a pitch out to Spencer Ware. And again, he misses that short gain. He does pick up 5, but Dennis Crowley is wiping his brow, a sigh of relief. That short gain had the potential to lead to 6, but instead it's 3rd and 5 with the ball at the 12, 6 minutes on a running clock here in the 4th quarter. Nail-biter time for both of these clubs. Kansas City looks like, barring something crazy here, a turnover, looks like they're going to be headed for a score. Question is, which is it going to be? It's either a chip shot field goal or a first down. 3rd down and 5. Here's an off-tackle run for Spencer Ware. Defense guesses pass, but it's on the defensive card, but he's able to pick up 6 yards on the play and a first down. Wow, defensive tackle reading of 6. And Seattle Seahawks dominating defensive cards do not help in this case. I'm waiting to see who the defensive tackle was that was unable to make the play. So Spencer Ware moves forward, 6 yards on the play, and a first down. That is a defensive tackle 4. Reed, it appears to be. So nice call by Kansas City on 3rd and 5. Spencer Ware picks up 6, and now ball at the 6-yard line of Seattle. Now it's looking ever more likely that Kansas City is going to take this lead. The question is by how much. There is a run for Spencer Ware up the middle. Oh, excuse me, that was Chahandrick West, who is spelling Ware right now. Actually, that's full house setup. Kansas City probably thinking that Seattle was going to key on him and decides to go with Chahandrick West. And that's a pickup of 5. Rolling clock here, 4:48. Another run for Chahandrick West, and he will get into the end zone for the touchdown. And Kansas City is now in the lead, 19-14. They certainly will line up for 2 here, undoubtedly. 4:30 to play. Kansas City deciding on the formation. A 2-point conversion here makes it a full touchdown lead. A point here probably isn't going to do them any good. No sense in having a 20-14 lead. If you have a chance at 21, you go for it. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Full house backfield. Seattle has those tough run cards, and they're going to have everybody up to the line. Be a gutsy pass call, but you do have Travis Kelce as a great target. But they do decide to go to Chahandrick West. They do call run. Let's see what pops up. And he's going to be stopped in the backfield. So nice break for Seattle. Regardless, they're going to need a touchdown. A touchdown now is going to win it. They won't have to worry about overtime or a 2-point conversion. Seattle knows what they have to do. And they know exactly what they're going to do on this play. They're going to take a knee. So 75 yards between Seattle and back-to-back titles for Dennis Crowley. Ball at the 25. Plenty of time, 4:30. Plenty of timeouts, 3 timeouts. So let's see what Tim Ervin can do here. Obviously, 4-down territory throughout. Kansas City looking to avenge their title game loss last year to these same Seattle Seahawks. Ervin looking for his 2nd title. Dennis Crowley looking for his 4th. Here's a screen to Proise. He's been a big weapon in the second half, but this time he can't come through. The pass falls incomplete. 2nd down and 10. So Crowley will stay with the 3-wide set. Russell Wilson, 22 of 36. Not quite been as sharp here in the second half as he was in the first. But Russell Wilson is a big game player. Dennis Crowley is a big game coach. Oh, and that pass falls incomplete. So he's gone to his favorite target twice, and the pass finds the turf in both occasions. Now it's 3rd and 10. So let's see if Kansas City dials up a blitz. If they do, they know that they're going to leave Proise open. That is D. Ford. On 3rd and 10, I would imagine they're going to blitz, and maybe they move that middle linebacker over. Let's see what's going to happen. Do they go to Proise a third time, knowing that D. Ford could be headed toward the quarterback and leaving Proise alone? Or do they opt to pick on those 4-rated cornerbacks? That's Lockett and that's Curse over there. They are blitzing. They do leave it alone. And Proise, he makes the catch. An 11-yard reception, and that is on the defensive card. So it didn't really matter, blitz or not. He picks up 11 on the play. That is 7 catches now for 77 yards for Proise. It took them 3 downs, but they have moved the chains. Ball at the 36. All 3 timeouts for Seattle. He was able to make it out of bounds on that play. Another pass to Proise. This time he does not get out of bounds. They can't call timeout at this point. They're not able to. Coaches aren't allowed to do that early on. Now that it's under 3, they will get that option. So that's a 5-yard pass for Proise, his 8th reception of the game. 8 of Russell Wilson's 24 completions have gone to this reserve running back, C.J. Proise. Here is another pass to Proise, and this time he's going to pick up 13 yards. He is stopped in the field of play, ball at the 50. So will Seattle play hurry up here? Or just go ahead and let that clock run? Time is a bit of a factor here. They do have all 3 timeouts left, but this is not a 3-point game anymore. This is a touchdown or bust. He elects to let the clock run, so the next play will be snapped at 2:24. Nail-biter time. Again, I know I said that early on, but this is as good as it gets. To have a title game get down to the final possession, you could not ask for anything more. A sensational stock team league, and we are just getting ready to culminate crown a title winner here, and whoever it is, they're going to earn it. This has not been given to either one of these 2 teams. Turnovers didn't decide it. Penalties didn't decide it. This is just 2 good coaches trying to stake their claim for a title. Here's an off-tackle run to Proise, but he only picks up 1. There's a penalty on the play. Oh, gosh. And it's an unsportsmanlike penalty on Kansas City. What a horrible time. What a horrible time for an unsportsmanlike penalty. That's a 15-yard penalty that moves the ball to the Kansas City 34. Tim Ervin shaking his head. Cannot believe that his players can't control themselves this late in the game. That could be a huge break for Seattle. Plus, it stops the clock, so they'll get 1 more free play here before the 2-minute warning. Here is a pass to Jimmy Graham, but it falls incomplete, so they are not able to take advantage of it. We now have hit the 2-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. Seattle trailing 19-14 in this USFFL title game. Dennis Crowley and his Seattle Seahawks, winners of last year's championship. Dennis has won 3 times in this league. He's looking for a 4th. He's 3-2 in title games. Facing off against Tim Ervin and the Kansas City Chiefs. Tim Ervin was the runner-up to Seattle last year. He also has a title under his belt from 3 seasons ago. There's a pass to Proise, and it loses a yard or a couple of yards actually on that play. He does. He loses a couple of yards. He is able to make his way out of bounds. That's small consolation, though, because now we're at 3rd and 12. So, again, Tim Ervin with a chance, 2 cracks at it to put this game out of reach, or certainly put a serious dent in it. Now we have a 3-2-6 setup for Kansas City. So there are some holes now for Seattle to exploit, depending on whether or not Kansas City moves one of those free safeties into that look-in pass zone. That's open. So here comes a quick slant. And he picks on it, and it's, oh my gosh, he's going to take it all the way down to the 6, a 30-yard pickup. So Crowley picks on the vacated zone in the look-in pass area, and he gets a huge break. Boxcar is a 30-yard pickup for Jimmy Graham. And just like that, Seattle has the ball at the Kansas City 6 with 1:45 to play, and now Kansas City is forced to call a timeout. So a nice call from Dennis Crowley. Kansas City elected not to move one of those free safeties into that zone, and they left a wide open look-in pass zone, and Seattle took advantage of it. That was Jimmy Graham's 8th catch of the game for 81 yards. Russell Wilson now has thrown for 260 yards in this contest. So full house backfield. No, we got the tight end set. That's Tyler Lockett on the wing. Here's a run for Russell Wilson. He's going to make his way into the end zone for a touchdown. So Seattle, it only took them a couple of minutes, and they have jumped out on top 20-19. So again, that two-point conversion, failed two-point conversion is looking really huge now. Seattle will go for 2 here. That's a pass to Lockett, but it falls incomplete. So if Kansas City is able to make their way into field goal range, they can win it. And they will win it with a successful field goal. 1:30 to play, 2 timeouts remaining. So in this case, I'm curious to see who caught that. That was a touchback. So it doesn't matter. I was curious to see if it was going to go to Tyreek Hill, if he was going to go for it again. But that decision is taken out of Tim Ervin's hands. So, the agony and ecstasy of this game. 4 minutes away from a title, and now 1:30 away from watching it slip away. But Tim Ervin has plenty of time. He's got lots of weapons. He's got a great quarterback in Alex Smith. And, of course, he has Spencer Ware, who can break loose. He's already done it once, and he has a couple of timeouts. So the run is not out of play here. Tim Ervin, great coach. I'm sure he can formulate a plan. He's going to have to get somewhere around the 30-yard line to have a shot at this. So he needs a good 25, 45 yards. And he's got 1:30 to do it. So this is doable, definitely doable. 3-3-5 setup for Dennis Crowley. And here comes a screen pass to Spencer Ware. He is not double teamed. One man in the zone, and the pass falls incomplete. Kansas City at this point is wanting these readings on their cards. That would have been a nice call. Just didn't catch the break there. Kansas City's got to be rooting for their cards at this point. Now we've got Tyreek Hill in the backfield. He does have one more carry left. He has that explosive run card. Does Seattle risk it here, knowing that Travis Kelce could go over the top? Do you actually call a run here to stop what would be an end run from Tyreek Hill, I would think? Always going to go deep to Tyreek Hill. There is one player in the zone. The defense did guess run, though. So let's see what we have. It's on the defensive card. The pass falls incomplete. That was a great call. Tim Ervin just made a terrific call. He just didn't catch the break. Well, if it would have been a 7 on Alex Smith's card, it would have been incomplete as well. He is not exactly someone who dials up long distance very effectively. That was a great call, though. I really like that call. That's too bad that didn't get the break. Nice call. 3rd down and 10. Ball at the 25. He does have 2 timeouts remaining. There's 1:15 to go. Does he go with a run with Tyreek Hill here? Defense called run on the last play. A gutsy call. Here comes that pitch out to Tyreek Hill. It is guessed wrong. But he's only able to pick up 4 because, again, it's on the defensive card. That's the 3rd consecutive roll that's been on the defensive card. And now it's 4th and 6th and pretty much the game. Kansas City probably will call, I would think they'll call timeout here to preserve that clock. Unless he stays in the hurry up. Kind of a dilemma, because if he doesn't get the fourth down, it's over with if he doesn't wind up getting this. So I think you've got to call timeout there. This game is going to be over with. All Dennis is going to have to do, he'll be able to call 2 timeouts, but he won't be able to stop him on the third. Yep, and he does. He calls timeout. So it's 4th down and 6 from their own 29. Effectively, this is the game. A minute and 7 to play. Dennis Crowley looking for back-to-back championships. Tim Ervin trying to convert and extend this game. Been a great title game. I was happy to be invited to call this one. I don't know much about this league, but I'm glad that I had a chance to watch. This has been an excellent game. 2 great coaches. So an interesting setup here. This is a pro set formation with Alex Smith in shotgun, and they've moved the tight end to a blocking back. Okay. O'Shaughnessy is now in the backfield with Spencer Ware. Does he try a run here? He's got to be keeping his fingers crossed. It's going to be on the offensive cards. It's just had no luck on this drive. They've all been on Seattle's cards, and Seattle's cards are quality. 3-3-5 set for Seattle. Will Kansas City live to see another play? Here's a screen pass to Spencer Ware. Defense double teams 2 other players. And he picks up 6 yards, and he gets the first down, and he gets out of bounds too. So a nice call by Tim Ervin. He gets the break, 6 yards on his quarterback's card. Wow, look at that card. 5 and a 4. Great break for him. So they will move the chains. Let's see who the injury was. That's Jeremy Macklin. And so they've lost one of their wide receivers. So that'll put Chris Conley out there with Tyreek Hill. A minute to play. Kansas City does have 1 timeout remaining. They've probably got to get another 30 to 35 yards to give them any sort of chance to get in Carlos Santos' field goal range. Dennis Crowley kicking himself 1 yard away from putting this game out of reach. Here's a pitch out to Spencer Ware. Defense picks a pass, and now he finally gets that short gain. He dials it up. He gets 13 yards, and that'll move the ball to the Kansas City 48. But he does not get out of bounds, so they will have to call timeout here. I don't think they go with the hurry up. No, they do not. So 52 seconds remaining. So the goal is a little bit clearer now. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done, most certainly. And they're going to have to catch a lot of breaks on this way down the stretch. But field goal range is getting a little closer for Carlos Santos. Again, variable field goal rule in play, so anything inside of the 40 has a chance, but you'd feel a lot more comfortable if you were kicking inside of the 30, 32 or 33. Anything inside of 50 yards is your goal. So Spencer Ware in the eye. I guess the run potentially could be in play, and look, it is. Wow, here's a run to Spencer Ware, but again, it's on the defensive card, but he's able to make his way out of bounds. That's a risky call at this point in the game, but Ware does make it out of bounds. I believe they say that an odd die roll means you didn't get out of bounds, and an even die roll means that you did. So they caught a break there. Again, it's on the defensive card. If that's on the offensive card, that's another short gain, I believe, for Spencer Ware on that end run. Ervin playing with fire on that call. I don't know if we'll see that again. 45 seconds to go. I'm not sure that's worth the risk. Here comes a curl pass to Tyreek Hill. He's double teamed by the Seahawks. And that pass falls incomplete. So now it's 3rd down and 7. 37 seconds to go. The flat pass is still in play, but you better hope for a receiver rating on that because Alex Smith Probably doesn't have the mojo to get 7 yards on his card. So you have to think a short pass is headed this way. There's 4 targets that he could throw to here. Dennis Crowley has been double teaming 2 players in the last few possessions. You get that free double team with that extra man in the 4 zone, and of course you lose your free safety there. His free safety is probably going to go double team somebody. Let's see, he's double teaming Kelsey. And here comes a pass to Spencer Ware. And it's good for 12 yards. Is Spencer Ware to make it out of bounds? No, he is not. The ball is caught in the field of play, which means he'll probably have to spike it here. And that might knock it down to 8 seconds. Let's see. The clock is kind of crazy when it comes to Stratomatic math. Let's see what he decides to do. He does spike it, I believe. Yes, he does. And that gives him 22 seconds left. So that's a nice break there. So Tim Ervin caught a decent break. Again, still uphill climb, certainly, but 22 seconds to go. The completion probably needs to be on this play with a chance to spike it. If this pass is incomplete and they complete the next pass, it's very realistic that they will not be able to spike this ball. I've seen people run out of this formation and somehow be able to spike the ball and then go for a field goal. Carlos Santos can kick this from 37 yards, and with the variable field goal rule, you never know. He actually might catch a break because of that. So Ervin has done his very best to put himself in field goal range. Does he go for one more run here and just go for the field goal, or does he try a pass? If he's going to run, it's going to have to be on this down. Alex Smith has been spot on in this drive. Big time 12-yard reception there for Spencer Ware. That was his 6th catch of the game. Tim Ervin has put himself in position to win this one, and that's the best he could have hoped for. They're taking their time with this call. Outstanding contest here, the 16th edition of the USFFL Championship. There's a run. It's an off-tackle draw to Spencer Ware. And the defense called a key on Spencer Ware. That is getting it done. It was a 2-yard pickup on the defensive card. If it would have been on the offensive card, we'd be talking about the end of the game at this point. But I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here. Surely you're going to spike the ball. 22 seconds to go, and that's going to set up the field goal. Well, we're kind of waiting here. I don't know if the game would have ended on this or not. I haven't seen another call. Still waiting on the spike. Come on, guys. What's going on here? I've not seen any activity from anyone. I'm hoping that the game didn't freeze. Well, these guys are conversing, and yet I'm still waiting to see the result of that play. I know it's a 2-yard pickup. I'm wondering if the clock has run out. Well, I just sent a note to one of the coaches to ask if the clock has expired because we're still sitting here stuck at 22 seconds and no one has done anything, although I'm seeing them converse. So I assume that he's going again. If they are able to stop the clock, he's probably trying to decide whether or not to go for a field goal or just go for a deep pass. But I can't really tell until somebody calls timeout. There's just been no activity between either two of these teams, so I don't really know exactly how this game finished. Hoping somebody will send me a note here to tell me exactly what's going on. Well, guys, I'm sorry. We're just waiting this out and trying to figure out exactly what's going on between these two coaches. Again, I'm thinking that he's able to call timeout and he's just trying to decide his next move. At least that's what I'm hoping. And I've seen the two have a little conversation here, so I'm assuming that the game hasn't frozen. I hate to interrupt, but I'm almost tempted to just send a note. I think I'm just going to have to. Okay, there we go. Oh, the game has crashed. Oh, dear. Okay. So I don't know if that means that the game is over. Or what, but we'll just jump out of it, I guess, and we'll jump back in here momentarily. You hate to see that on the last play, but I wonder if that means that the game has ended. But we'll hop back in here momentarily and we'll see if there's going to be one more play for Kansas City or if this championship belongs to Dennis Crowley and the Seattle Seahawks. So Dennis Crowley is sending over a new game ID. I don't know if that means that this game is over or not. We'll find out. Okay, we have a new game ID. We'll throw that in here. Sorry, this game has gotten to a snail's pace here at the end, but this kind of stuff happens. This game is kind of squirrely when in the last few plays of the game, sometimes we see crashes. Sometimes at halftime, we see crashes. It's way better than it was in years past, though. I will admit that it's improved greatly. The stability of this program online used to be a real mess, but now it's gotten a lot better. But you just hate it when something like this happens in a title game. Well, we're waiting for the new game ID. This would be a good time, if any, to have some commercials. So YouTube, throw some commercials in here. So we're in the final seconds of the USFF Championship. Dennis Crowley and his Seattle Seahawks are up 20-19 over Tim Ervin and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a repeat performance from last year's title game. That was championship number 15. This is season number 16. Dennis Crowley has won this league 3 times. He's been to the finals 5 times. This is his 6th trip. Tim Ervin is 1-1 in finals games. This is his 3rd trip. Dennis Crowley is looking to win back-to-back championships. It's only happened 1 time in this league. This will be the 2nd time. Actually, excuse me, this has happened twice in the league. This would be Dennis Crowley's 2nd time for this to happen. There was another coach named Tony Trivpiece who won a couple of championships a few years ago with Baltimore. Okay, we have the game ID. Okay, so we'll get back into this and we'll try to set the stage. Okay, so with 8 seconds remaining, Kansas City has no choice but to try to kick this 52-yarder. This is Carlos Santos on to kick. Two to 5 on the card, just like Dennis Crowley said. If it's a variable field goal range, we never know what in the world's going to pop up here. So this is for the championship of the USFFL. Tim Ervin or Dennis Crowley is going to raise the trophy above their head. And it's all on the toe of Carlos Santos. Wow, here we go. Isn't this something else? These 2 coaches have been conversing back and forth. And the kick is going to sail wide. It's going to sail wide. A 2 through 5 chance at a kick. The variable field goal range has nothing to do with it. This kick sails wide, and this ball game is over. So Santos is unable to convert on that very deep kick. Really something else. Quite a contest between these 2. They're friends. They know each other. Both are great coaches, and they're congratulating each other here at the end. All we have to do is see one more kneel down on the ball. And a fantastic game. Absolutely terrific game between 2 very good coaches and very good people. And again, you love the camaraderie of Stratomatic. There's nothing like it, especially when you have 2 great coaches together. Good sportsmanship. Talking each other up. Tim Ervin, 2 back-to-back title runs. Dennis Crowley, 2 back-to-back title wins. So congratulations to Dennis Crowley. He's in a number of our leagues, and this year he was able to win a very special league, the Autumn Wind League. He was able to pull that one out as well. Very, very good coach. And there is your knee, and there is the ball game. So that is your final score. The USFFL champions, the Seattle Seahawks, knocking off the Kansas City Chiefs 20-19. So congratulations both to Tim Ervin and to Dennis Crowley, who will take home the prize for the 16th season of the USFFL. We'll take a look here at some final numbers. The 2 are going to continue to talk a little bit more. I don't know if Dennis is going to join me or not here, but let's just take a look at the box score. You can review it here with me. Quite a crazy finish here down the stretch with a couple of late scores for both clubs. In the halftime score was 14-10, Seattle. Kansas City was able to get a 24-yard field goal from Carlos Santos on a really crazy drive, actually. That was helped out by a personal foul penalty on a 3rd down and 13. And Kansas City was able to parlay that into a chip shot field goal that cut the lead to 14-13. They were able to hold Seattle. Actually, the teams exchanged possessions in the 3rd quarter. And then to the 4th quarter, Kansas City scored on a Chahadrick West 1-yard run, giving them the lead, but that gave Dennis Crowley the ball with 4:30 to play, and it took him only 3 minutes to score. on Russell Wilson's 6-yard run that gave Seattle a 20-19 lead. They tried for 2, couldn't get it. So Kansas City with a field goal could have won this thing, and that was a deep kick of about 52 yards, I think, when it was all said and done. And the kick sails wide for Carlos Santos, who had kicked a couple of field goals already in that game, but that was the miss. That was the crusher, but it was a great drive from Tim Ervin. Great drive from Tim Ervin to give them even a chance to win down the stretch.
Hey, Michael. Can you hear me? Hello? You may have muted me. Tell me I can't hear you. Maybe I did something.
Spencer Ware, big game, 135 yards, including a 46-yard run that eventually led to a Kansas City touchdown at the end of the first half. Leading rusher for Seattle, Thomas Rawls, 40 yards, nothing really there.
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
Travis Kelce, 7 catches for 71 yards, the receiving star for Kansas City. But the big star, especially in the second half, C.J. Froese, 9 catches for 91 yards, the reserve running back, with 91 yards and also a rushing touchdown to boot.